Broadcasting from Newport Beach, Costa Mesa to the universe. 1015 KOCI LPFM.
Yeah.
Happy Monday, everyone out there. It is a Monday. It's a gloomy day out there in Orange County, and it's a little bit of a rough Monday for me. I went to a wedding yesterday at Pelican Hill Resort, so gorgeous, and I think I had a little too many cocktails, a little too much fun. So I'm a little slow this afternoon, but thanks for tuning in to Keeping It Real with Peggy Tanous here at KOCI Radio 101.5 FM. So I want to give you a little Monday motivation. I would like to tell everyone out there to answer everything with love. No matter how bad something is, no matter how angry you are at somebody, no matter what the situation is, if we just answer it with love, I think we're going to be in a much, much better world out there. So that's my little Monday motivation. Now it's time to get started for the fun stuff. We have a fabulous show planned today. I've got two amazing guests. I've got my long time friend, beautiful girlfriend of mine, Michelle Thorpe, and she is going to be speaking with us about dating, as well as my friend Esteban Huddleston, and he is going to be telling us about his dating situation. So welcome, Michelle, and welcome, Esteban.
Hi, Peggy. Thanks for having me.
What's up? Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So everyone out there, I mean, people kind of joke around and call me the matchmaker because I actually, Michelle knows, I've had good luck with setting people up. I've set up 5 people now.
Not me.
I've tried.
Yes, you have many times.
I have. But I set up 5 people, and 3 of them have gotten married. And the 4th couple, they live together, and they've been together almost 4 years. And the 5th couple, they broke up, but they're best of friends. So I think I have a pretty good track record.
Yeah, you're good. And you know everybody.
I know everybody. So do you. So it's kind of, it works. And, but I want to know, I mean, there's so many crazy stories out there. When I met Micah, thanks to Michelle actually introduced us. Yeah. And isn't it so funny how in town, so many people try to claim fame to that.
They try to get my claim to fame.
They're like, no, we set you guys up. No. Michelle and I went to the opening of the Yard House.
But I didn't set you up. I just introduced.
You just introduced us. Well, the funny thing is,
you set yourselves up.
If you remember, I remember you kept inviting me to things. Like he was having this huge 30th birthday bash, and then he was having like this huge 1,500 person New Year's party, and you kept saying, come to my friend Micah's parties. And
guys, really fun.
Yeah. And
I didn't think you would be together. But I remember when your very first time we were at a club, Josh Slocum's, and you guys locked eyes, sat on a couch for about 5 hours. I was like, what's going on? And that was it.
Yeah. Well, because when we first met, which was at the Yard House, and you introduced us, I was like, oh, this guy's cute, but he's young and he's not going to want to get serious. And then he's looking at me going, oh, she models. This is probably bad news. And now 13 years later.
13 years.
Yeah, it's going to be 11 years of marriage in June and 2 babies.
2 little girls.
So now, and Esteban, you are a gay male.
Yes.
Which I think is great. And I want to, dive into that as well, about how it is different to be someone single and being gay.
Yeah, no, and it's crazy. I mean, it's definitely very different. And a lot of people are like, well, how is it different? It's dating. But, it really isn't just dating. There's more to it than just, I'm going to hold your hand and walk down, over at Irvine Spectrum or whatever. It's way different than just ordinary dating for a guy that wants to take a girl out, for me, it's different.
And you're in a relationship now, just recently?
I am in a relationship now, yeah. We've been together for a year. Thank you. Wow. He already wants to propose, and I'm like, e-break. And I'm like, I'm trying to get famous, and you want to put a ring on it? All right, you need to just hold up. Yeah. Well, I'm a catch. What can I say?
Yeah, you are.
Now, how old is he?
So he's 25, and I'm 24.
Oh, you guys are young.
So we're young.
We're
young now, yeah.
I say don't wait.
But you're over 35, so that's a different situation.
Yeah, that's why I have the experience. If he wants to put a ring on it, put a ring on it.
Put a ring on it.
Yeah.
And see, my personality, I'm such a honey badger. I really don't care. So you never know. You might, I might, tweet Peggy and be like, hey, you know what, girl? 2 weeks later, I'm married, I mean, that's just my personality, and he knows that, and that's one of the things that he loves about me.
If you're in love, I mean...
So you never know, but I'm very in love.
Don't wait.
I'm very happy. So,
good.
Yeah.
Well, I always say that too, and Michelle knows for years I've been following the whole rule of if you're together for over a year, and not so much at your age, I think, Esteban, but for sure, Michelle and I, when you're, over 35, there's no reason to wait. I mean, if within a year,
right,
I think you should move forward and make it happen.
Yeah.
So, Michelle, you're a realtor. I mean, you meet people all the time.
I do.
So what do you think? And you know, I've known you forever. We've been together. Well, I mean, been together. We've been friends for like 16 plus years. We used to model together.
Yes, long time ago.
Long time ago.
For many years, traveled the world together.
We've traveled together
Met
and still
people
stayed
all
friends.
over the world. Yes, I know. It was so fun.
So fun.
We had the best time.
And you've dated. I mean, you've dated a lot of great people and an array
great
of people.
to not so great.
Athletes,
as you know.
normal people. I mean, you've dated all kinds of people.
I have.
So, tell me what you find in particular with Orange County. What one of the big struggles is here?
Orange County, I feel just Orange County, not LA, not San Diego, but Orange County. I don't think anyone really wants commitment. I think they think there's a bigger, better deal or younger, skinnier deal, whatever it is. I feel like men here don't want family and commitment. And it's just easier. I feel like they don't really want to put in work when you're in love. I mean, it's work. You know this.
Yeah.
You tell me.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of work. Like, it's not just you get in one fight and you could just run to the next. It's going to be easier. You just keep running to the next, And men just find it easier to go to the next.
They get mad
and
at
not
something
get real.
and they pick up and leave.
Yep. Goodbye.
Leave you at home.
Yeah.
And no, what? So Esteban, is it the same with being a gay male? I mean, are guys out there like bigger, better dealing, or is it?
You know what? I think I totally agree with you. I mean, it's the whole commitment thing. It's like, I mean, one of my friends, like, before I met, the guy that I'm with now, she was like, "Why don't you download Grindr?" And I'm like looking at her like, "What the French toast is Grindr?" I'm like,
"Thanks for keeping it clean. We are on FM here."
And and it's like they don't want a commitment. It's like, oh, you know what? I just want to date, and then they don't want to be serious. Or I think for me, it's different because like for me, like I won't commit because of fear. And I don't know what, their reason is for it. But I think that it has to do with that. I think it has to do that maybe, like for me, it has to do with like, I get hurt once, I get heartbroken, I get cheated on, I get lied to. And then I don't want to, fall in love with, again. I don't want to like pursue the dating again because I know that I'm going to get hurt, like one more time. So it's like, why am I going to go out there and do something that is only going to harm me, in the end? And, and one day I just, got up and said, you know what, like, I have to just move on and move forward, and I have to be happy. That's ultimately the goal at the end of the day. And it's a choice. And like I found love when I wasn't even expecting to find it. And that was what was so cool about it, because every time I wanted love, I went and like I looked for it. And like this time around, like for me, it just like happened.
That's when
it happens when you least expect it. I mean, Michelle and I, we were like so sick of the dating scene in Orange County that we literally had a discussion and we're like, let's move. We're going to go to
Chicago
Miami.
Or Miami. We were moving. We were out of Orange County.
We were out of here. And then literally like a month later, I met Micah, and now here we are almost 13 years later. So
13 years later. Yep. And it struggles. And I mean, Micah sticks through everything. I remember him saying, he is like, there's no, D word in your relationship. And that's a man who just sticks through it. He wants to make it work. He puts in the work.
Absolutely. Yeah. And,
he loves you to death. And I want something like that in my life. So I will keep dating till I find it. Keep dating Orange County.
You're dating though. You've got a special someone.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, so we'll see what happens, right?
Trying to be good again.
No, I want to ask this to both of you.
Yeah.
There's that, I remember back when I was single, there was the book, The Rules, and I read it. I kind of took some of it to heart and some of it not.
You had so many rules.
I did. And I made a list. And I think it's really important for people to do that. Make a list. And I told you recently to do that. And you have to make it like hardcore, your list. It has to be like down to like...
For years, you
like
told me.
Even the pair of shoes they're wearing, if that's important to you. Like, so whatever's important to you. And, when I met Micah, he fit almost every single thing on my list. I think the only two things was I wanted somebody older. Because
he didn't ride a Harley.
He didn't ride a Harley, but that was okay because he got a sports car instead. So I was like, okay, that's better. But I remember I kept dating all these younger guys because I look younger and everybody was like, I don't know, for whatever reason, all these younger guys were asking me out. So I did have on my list, I want somebody older next time. But that didn't matter because he was so mature. But because of that, like sticking to making a list and all that, there's also rules like, okay, don't sleep with them on the first date, that kind of thing. What do you guys think of that? Do you believe like you shouldn't sleep with them on the first date? Like
I do.
I do too. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to respect yourself too. I mean, like that's your body, so you have to respect yourself. I view it like as a temple, like me personally. And I think there has to be boundaries. Yeah, it's okay to like, go on a few dates and like, because like when you feel that spark, that you can't control. You can't control how you feel. So if really there is chemistry with that person, like on your few dates, I think it is okay, to like, like who wants to move in and like make the first kiss and stuff like that. And I think that's cute, and it's like a little like puppy dog face.
But for men and women, a guy has to give a chase.
Yeah.
For to chase the girl, and you have to feel wanted, and you have to feel like he's a gentleman, and he's taking you out, and you're not going to sleep with him on the first date, and all that goes out the window. And still to this
but
day.
I do know people, like my sister's really good friend, she slept with her husband on the first date, and she was like, well, you know what, I guess the old saying says don't do it. She goes, but it worked for me because they got married.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on the situation.
But I like, Esteban, that you feel that way, because I feel like gay men are much more aggressive or open, like about like, let's just sleep together.
Yeah.
As opposed to heterosexual people.
Yeah.
And would you agree with that typically?
Yeah, I get a lot of that. Like my friends, like, I mean, they even look at me weird. They're like, dude, like, are you sure like you're gay then? Like, I mean, they're like, and I'm like, no, yeah, like, I mean, I'm legitly sure, but I mean, yeah, I mean, definitely, I would say that it, and it's crazy because it's like, I've always been very like relationship oriented though. That's always been my personality. Like I'm a hopeless romantic. Like I love
What sign are
singing.
you?
I'm Pisces.
Oh, you're right before me.
Yeah.
So your birthday's coming up, or you just had it?
So I just had it. So it was February 27th.
Happy belated
Happy
birthday.
belated.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, Pisces are the dreamer. So
yeah, no, and I've always been like that. I've always been like, I'm gonna have that perfect life, and everything, and that's just been me. Yeah.
And okay, so we've covered the whole sleeping. Now what about friends or exes? Are they off limits or on limits?
What do you mean? Like to go backwards?
No. Like so.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Would you date like an ex of mine if I didn't care?
Oh no. I don't do sloppy seconds.
Yeah, no.
No, I don't want to like talk about having a relationship and how it was with you, and we're good friends.
Yeah.
There's so many people in the world. That's
okay, but what about, because this is interesting, because I think it depends on the situation. So my younger sister had dated a guy and in high school, and then like years later, I saw him out, and it wasn't like a serious thing. And then years later, I saw him out, and he was like, "Oh my God, I want to take you out."
Yeah, that's different.
And I said, "Well, let's call my sister and ask her first."
Yeah.
That's years and many relationships in between. But yeah, usually I don't want to date someone who's fresh out. And it's Orange County. It's very small. Everyone dates everybody.
Oh yeah.
So just get in line.
Take a number.
Exactly.
Now, what about? This is a funny story. I had met a guy at a trade show, because I used to do a lot of the narration work at trade shows. And I met a guy, great guy, but I went on like 1 or 2 dates with him when we got back to California. He lived here, or does live here as well, but we met in Vegas. And I just didn't feel anything for him. I just like, he's not my type. So I actually set him up with my girlfriend, and they got married. They're now married with 2 kids.
Oh, we'll talk later.
In LA, yeah. But now what do you think of that? Like if somebody,
I think that's fine.
So if you went out with somebody and you didn't really care for him, you'd set him up with one of your friends.
Completely.
Yeah.
Especially now, if I have a good friend and I thought he was a great guy, I would definitely set them up.
Yeah.
I'll set my ex up with someone. My ex, he's a great guy. And
I'm like, do I know him? Which one?
Canada.
Oh yeah, he is a great guy.
Yeah, I'll set him up with people. Nice guy.
But then it depends on the person, because if they're a secure person, they'd be like, oh, cool, I trust your judgment, I'm a dating. But someone else might go, oh, you were with him for a while, so I'm not comfortable with it. So it depends on the situation.
Yeah, because it's funny, because I actually was at a local cheesecake factory, and I was eating with one of my best friends, and I saw this guy, and I thought he was really cute, and we started talking, and didn't know he was straight, and I actually thought he was hitting on me, and then it turned out that I felt like I was like matchmaking, because like then it turned out that I was like, oh my God, shut up! I have this single friend, she's gonna love me for this, and they've been together for like 3 years now.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
no way.
yeah, and they love me for like introducing them, and like it's funny because that's our inside joke. I was like, yeah, just to let you know, I was kind of into your man before he became your man. But it's like so funny.
And you thought he was hitting on you. That is funny.
Yeah, I thought, but he was just being nice, and like he knows about it now, and it's no big deal. You brush it off your shoulders. He actually thinks it's really cool, and he calls me brother and stuff now, and it's funny.
So why did you think that he was hitting on you?
Because I kind of told him that he was acting a little feminine at times, and then like when he told me that he was straight, I told him, I was like, well, then you're just worrying me because you do some feminine things and you need to get yourself checked out. So that was why.
Well, I think we're going to head into a break right now for a second, and then when we come back, we're going to get more into our dating world and take some calls. So keep listening.
Martian.
The expansion at Christ Lutheran Church and School in Costa Mesa has allowed them to be proactive with a new state-of-the-art security system that includes swipe cards to continue keeping their precious children safe. They're one big family who love and care for each other while challenging their kids academically with top-notch curriculum, 21st century technology, choir, band, athletics, hands-on science with STEM integrated into the existing curriculum, and so much more. Their contact is Lisa Olson, 949-548-6866.
Authentic family Mexican cuisine for 50 years. El Matador restaurant has the KOCI Weekly Award-winning margaritas with a choice of over 200 tequilas to suit your taste. The tradition continues at El Matador on Newport Boulevard at 18th Street in Costa Mesa and on the web, elmatadorcostamesa.com.
Hi, this is the Boat Co. Radio entertainment guide for Costa Mesa's one-of-a-kind food, art, music venue, the Boathouse Collective. On March 17th, Costa Mesa's very own The Bluffs and Travesura will be playing a show together starting at 9 o'clock. On March 18th, the boys from Venice Beach, Brightside, will be lullabying us with some reggae vibes. On March 19th, from LA, the blues master, Reverend Sean Amos. For more information, BoathouseCollective.com, where amazing food and amazing music come together.
Heston Graphics for all your printing needs. With 40 years experience in the Newport Harbor area at 3851 Birch Street in Newport Beach and on the web at HestonGraphics.com. Printers and graphic designers building the bridge between design and printing. It's Heston Graphics, 949-474-9111 and on the web at HestonGraphics.com. 949-474-9111.
And we are back. You're listening to Keeping It Real with Peggy Tanous here on KOCI Radio 101.5 FM. Remember, you can listen to us online. So if you're in your car and you got to run into the house, don't fret. Just go to KOCIRadio.com and you can listen live from your home computer or your cell phone. So we have Michelle Thorpe and Esteban Huddleston here in the studio.
Peggy. What up?
We're back. So I want to talk a little bit about social media and dating, because I feel like part of social media has really helped dating, because we do all live very busy lives. And like in your situation, you're dating someone now that he's off in Colombia, correct? Right now?
Yeah, he's in Colombia right now, yeah.
So that allows you to continue the relationship and make it easier.
Yeah.
But I think there's also a really negative side to social media with dating. I feel like people are so used to, oh, well, let me Google them or let me look them up on Facebook or whatever. So then they're finding everything out about you before they even meet you. And they're, having these prejudgments. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. What would what's your take on that, Michelle?
I mean, I have been asked out numerous times through Facebook or Instagram. So it's like the new dating, really. It's how people get to know each other, and it's, and it works fine with me. But then when you're in a relationship, that's when it gets really complicated and tricky. And who posts what, who's in pictures with what. You see everything. Your life is all out there. You see everything you're doing or they're doing. So it gets really tricky and complicated, and who likes whose pictures and who's tagged and whose pictures. And it's such, it's like, but
I kind of have just gone off all of it. I mean, I do my fan page stuff, but I'm just like over it. Now, I think, and Esteban, I want to get your take on it as well, but I also feel like it can be a bad thing, because I feel like nowadays people have gotten so lazy and they all are about their social media. And so they don't pick up the phone. It's like, just pick up the darn phone, you know?
Yeah, it's very true, and I agree, Michelle. I think it goes sour. The relationship I'm in now, we met in person. We bumped into each other at a restaurant, just randomly, and we FaceTime, and when he's here, we do hang out and do stuff. But, I've been in relationships where social media has literally killed the entire relationship, because it's just like Michelle said, it's like jealousy takes over. It's like, why is that person, following you on Twitter, or, why are they looking at your Instagram? Why are they liking all your pictures? They're blowing up your phone,
Well, but I've seen, because we're friends on Twitter.
And we are.
And I've seen, you've had a couple cuckoos on there.
Yeah, and I've had, and thank God, that's like in the past now. But that's what I'm talking about. It's gotten that intense. And so it's like, it doesn't become healthy anymore. Also because everybody else sees that and it becomes public. So everybody knows your business. And then, it's like, it doesn't just become like within you and that person anymore, because the relationship, it's two people. It's not the world.
Yeah.
But then you make it about the world when you start posting it on social media.
Well, and try being a public figure.
Yeah.
And then it's really crazy. And then you got all the
and then everyone, judges you, and you're only supposed to put things that are happy in your life. And reality is everyone's not perfect. No relationship's perfect. In my relationship, we put great pictures but it's not always happy.
Yeah.
You go through things so that everyone judges. But you guys are so great. You're so happy.
You're not behind the closed doors.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and so everyone judges that. And of course, I'm not going to put, things up on my Facebook. I'm having a bad day, or, So, yeah, people judge and people see. But, I like Facebook. Also, personally, I think men over 40 should not be on social media.
And that's what Micah says too. He's exactly the same.
It kind of drives me crazy.
way.
Unless you have something that you need to be on social media for, what are you doing? Go to work.
That's what he
Get off
always said.
Facebook. You're looking at all these girls. You're on all day. You're a grown man. Your children are on Facebook.
Micah got on Twitter only because he didn't, when we were on Housewives, he didn't want someone to steal his name. But he really barely even goes on there anymore. And he totally agrees. He's like, I don't,
he's never been on anything.
No, he doesn't do any of that. So I want to talk about, I always, having my rules. I always tell men and guy friends of mine that are single, I try to give them advice. And I say, listen, you should always call a woman and ask her out. Try to call her a couple days in advance. Yeah. I have some rules or some advice I give them. Esteban, what would you give a gay man out there advice on, dating in the gay world?
Honestly, you have to be yourself. You have to, know your boundaries also, but you have to be yourself and be genuine with the person in order for that relationship to last. Because, with what I have going on, it's, 100% real, because, I told him from day one, this is Esteban, this is who I am, take it or leave it type of thing. And, it's like, you're either all in or you're not, And I would really just say, chivalry has really died down, I think, in, the LGBT community, I think in general. And I kind of feel like, dates don't happen anymore. It's like, take somebody out to dinner, treat them to a dinner,
I agree.
Go to a movie and stuff, be
Court
cute
the
like
person,
that.
yeah.
Exactly. If you really care about that person, you want to initiate that spark, and I think it's really romantic when somebody is wanting to just spontaneously be like, let's go grab pasta, let's go to Javier's, let's go do whatever, you know what I mean? Go on a date night, and spend quality time together, because nowadays it's you hang out with friends, but then you're on your phone because you're texting other people. So you're really not there, where you're physically at, because you're mentally somewhere else.
Well, I have a rule at my house. Whenever we have dinner, the four of us every night, 6:00, and they have to put away their iPads. The kids do, and Micah's got to put away his phone, and I put away my phone.
Yeah.
And that's definitely our rule, because I think too often people, they have their phone and they start looking at it, and then
it's a really bad habit.
So, Michelle, what's your advice for single men? We're actually going to take a caller first. We have Stacy that's calling in. Stacy, you're on air. You're on live on KOCI 101.5 FM. Are you there, Stacy?
Hi.
Hi. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, of course.
So, Stacy, you've been listening to our show on dating. Are you a single female, or what's your situation?
I am a single female. I've dated quite a few guys. As any lady in her 30s has a past, but Oh my gosh, I dated this one guy named Wes for, I don't know, like 4 months, and he was a total creeper. He ended up asking me if he could put his stuff from his apartment into my garage, and we've been dating like 4 months, and I thought, well...
Wow, that's very soon to ask that.
Yeah.
I know. Well, he had told me that he lost his house, or was selling his house, so he needed to move into an apartment, which, you know, when you're 25, like, you really don't think much of it. So I kind of let him, and one day I came home from work, and he had gotten into my garage, stole everything of his, took all his stuff, stole all mine, and stole stuff in the house.
Oh, my gosh. And how did he get into your house? Did you give him a key?
No, the garage didn't lock. The remote control was broken, so he just kind of pushed it up.
Oh,
and I guess I forgot to lock the door into the house from the garage, and came home from work and gone, like ransacked.
Wow, so that's definitely dating gone bad. And were you able to recover any of it?
No, I ended up trying to call him, and his number was completely disconnected. I mean, he kind of gave me weird vibes anyways, but I didn't think, I just didn't. I was a single mom, so I didn't really want to, I was trying really hard to say, okay, maybe give this guy a chance. You kind of, say all guys have weird vibes.
Oh, hopefully you didn't sleep with them, did you?
I did. Ew.
Oh my gosh.
So now what do you, Stacey, what do you think about what we were talking about as far as rules? What kind of advice would you give men out there so that they can learn from, your experience, and maybe they're like, oh, okay, Stacey gave me good advice. Now I know what not to do on my next date. What would your advice be?
So one thing I have got now that I'm older and I can look back, follow your gut. I know you think it gives mixed messages, but trust it, because I had a feeling this guy was weird, gave him a benefit of the doubt, trying to be nice, and I was totally wrong and should have followed my gut. So if you're getting weird vibes when you're starting to date someone, there's a reason why you're getting them.
I think that's great advice. And I think Michelle definitely, she was dating somebody that we both knew, and we both got creepy vibes.
I knew right away. But other people thought he was great, and they told me, give this guy a chance. He tried to win over everyone in my life, and he pursued me for years and years. I used to have a file on my computer saying stalker, but for years this man would pursue me. And finally I said, okay, 5 years later, I said, okay, I'm going to try to give it a chance. It's time. I should get married.
Well, and then the guy had a whole nother life.
And he had a double
life. Yeah.
It was.
Oh, I've done that. Firefighter. And he was married, full-blown married. You never would have guessed.
Oh, a firefighter. Well, and see, I think careers like that, it's tough because they can
do that.
I dated an FBI agent, and my friend's like, how do you know that he doesn't even have a whole nother life? Yeah. And he probably did.
He did. I think he probably did, because he was in Chicago, right?
He was in New York.
Or New York,
yeah. So, well, thank you for calling in, Stacey, and thanks for your advice.
Bye, Stacey.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck to you.
You too. Bye.
So what other advice, would you, both of you, I want both of you to give me some other advice on...
For men, I would say, if you really do want a relationship, build a future with someone, build memories. Why keep going to the next and the next? Aren't you so happy that in your life you have one person you get to spend all your memories with and, make more memories? It's not like, oh, this ex, we did this, and this ex, we did this.
Absolutely.
Put in some work. It pays off. And so don't be scared. Men are so intimidated by women, I think. And I think that's when social media comes in. They're scared to approach women. So it is easier on Facebook to ask, or Instagram or Twitter to ask girls out. So I think that's a good start.
It's made them lazy, I think.
But then you didn't date when all this was out there.
Well, yeah, when Micah and I started dating, literally text messages were just starting.
Yeah.
We had the flip phone, and so there was no text messaging, there was no Facebook, there was no Twitter, there was none of that, and there weren't even. I think
he had to call you.
Yeah, he had to, and I think Match.com had just came out, and I remember my girlfriend going, oh, you should get on this Match.com, and I was like, what the heck is that? And I remember I looked on it once just to look and see. I was like, oh, there's some cute guys, but I never signed up. And then I met Micah, and I never had to worry about it.
But when guys go after it, pursue, be a man, be a hunter, and if you want it, you make the woman feel special, and it's going to work out. Don't be scared.
Now, one thing I think, and you guys can let me know what you think of this, I am usually the person to say to a woman, like, let the man be the pursuer. And typically I do believe that because I'm a little old-fashioned. But I do think that because a lot of guys are intimidated, then it's okay maybe to give them a certain look or a smile so that they know, okay, it is okay to approach this woman.
These younger girls out there now, your age, they pursue men to no other. They text them all day. They ask them out. And I see these guys running from these girls. You still have to be a little old-fashioned. It's in a man's blood to want to chase a woman.
Yeah.
So let them chase you. Don't text a guy. Don't ask him out. I mean, not until you're in a relationship.
Okay, but what do you think of remember the old rule? It was like you have to wait 2 days, or the woman has, if the guy calls you, wait like a day before you call him back.
No.
I don't play any of that
If he calls
BS.
you call him back. If he texts you text him back right away. Yeah, don't play those games.
Yeah, no.
And that's what I loved about Micah when we met. He was like, listen, I can see this going somewhere. I don't want to play games. So if you feel like calling me, please call me.
You guys would talk on the phone. I remember this. You guys would talk on the phone for 10 hours at night. You're like, I didn't sleep last night. We talked for 10 hours. How cute.
It was very
cute. You
cute.
got to know each other.
So
yeah,
absolutely. So Esteban, what about for you? Do you think that, is there in the gay community, do you guys play those games too? Okay, wait 2 days or don't call back right away.
Yeah, I think that it does get intimidating too because it's all brand new too. I used to go out with this guy that told me he's like, well, I'm still on the DL, which means you still haven't really come out to family and stuff like that, and that was hard to deal with. Just in the sense that it brought up a lot of walls because there were a lot of fears, and I think that it's like you said, how men it's very intimidating for a man to go up to a woman, at a restaurant or whatever, and old-fashionedly, ask them out. I think it's the same thing with us, and it's the phone. I think it's the phone, whether it's a text or whether it's a comment or inbox on Facebook or whatever, to invite somebody to go out and hang out. I think, kind of saves the guy from that at first, but I think it's cute when somebody can actually come up to you because then that means that person really is worth being with, maybe they actually are taking the time to be like, no, you know what, this person really caught my eye, I want to talk to them.
Not just
you know what I mean,
10 text messages to 10 different guys.
I mean, that's not personal. I mean, because at that rate it's just going to be well, I'm just going to start naming all of you guys my fans, at that rate, because that's what it is. It's not personal.
Yeah.
When somebody comes up to you, it's you get to know them how they are. And then, it's kind of attractive for me too. Cause, I've had people come up to me and I'm like, wow, it takes courage to do that. And I give kudos to the people that actually can do that.
Now, if you don't mind, I want to ask you, it's a little bit off a side note here, but did you know when you were a child that you were gay? Was it something you grew into or?
Well, I mean, I never really thought about it until I was 12. I actually was sexually abused at 12. So I never really knew what dating and stuff was, because I was a kid, and I was very naive to that. My parents, and we never talked about it. I mean, you don't talk to your kids at 12 years old, when they're 12 years old and talk to them about these things.
Yeah.
So it's after that happened, for me, I just kind of felt like it was just normal. It was normal for, for me to guys. And then it was a battle that I struggled with because, then I tried to snap out of it. And, for a while I dated girls.
Well, you want to fit in with everyone else.
Well, yeah, because ultimately you want to fit in. And it's all the guys, that are popular, like you, because, they like your personality. And it's oh, I'm that popular. I'm that cool kid. You know what I mean? It's that peer pressure too, because it's you want to be popular and fit in. So you do whatever it takes to, to get there. And so for me, that's what it was. For me, it was well, I'll go out with girls, if it means me being cool and stuff.
But it didn't feel right.
But it never felt right, and, I cared about the girls I was with, but I never really, felt a deeper connection, the way that in the relationship I'm in now, it's I'm 100% all in it to win it. And I'm completely in love. And, and I compare this to what I was, doing back then. And, it's there's no comparing. It's day and night.
Now, obviously, in the U.S. we have, gay marriage is pretty, I think it's almost all the states now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost all the states, yeah.
So now what about in Colombia? Do they accept it or not?
So over there they do. They're a little bit more liberal.
Oh, great.
So over there they do. We wouldn't really want to get married in Colombia, but I mean, it would be an option. But yeah, we want to get married on the beach.
Nice.
And we actually want to get married in Cancun. So like on the beach, and and we can get married there. So yeah, so but we're it's still like up in the air, but like but we do talk about it though. We're like, well, where do you want to get married? And I'm like, well, I want to get married at the beach. I want to because I'm a hopeless romantic too. Like I mean, I've like we get on FaceTime, I sing love songs to him, like like I do all of that. Like I write a lot of song lyrics, so I'll write like little like poems, and like I'm cheesy like that, but I feel like that's what keeps the relationship alive and going, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. That's what you need. It's like, and it goes for like, I mean, I'm gay, but it goes for like even the straight man.
A girl, and if you're married, I mean, trust me, I'm always thinking of like, okay, I got to think of things to keep it fresh and keep it exciting, and it's hard, especially when you have two kids that are young and they're always coming in our bed in the middle of the night. So it's, it's like, hello, and that's gonna be a whole nother show we're gonna talk about.
Yeah, seriously.
I wanted to ask Michelle, now being a realtor, and now you've never been married before, correct?
Never.
Yeah. And I think nowadays that's so much more the norm. Like back in my parents' day, it was unheard of to get married at 30.
Right.
But my mom and dad were like way advanced for their age, because my mom was 30 when they got married. My dad was 32. And they've been married now for 53 or 54 years this year it'll be. So I think back then that was like unheard of. But nowadays, I mean, it's normal to wait until you're 35, 40, 45. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
But now being a realtor, what do you think of like coworkers? Is it okay to date somebody that you're, that's in your office, or what if you met a guy on the listing? I mean, is that okay? I mean,
well,
I guess
I have.
Yeah. Okay. Didn't know where this is coming from.
Coworkers, we're all independent. So yeah, you could date a coworker. That would be, I've thought of, dating another realtor. You team up. That would be like great. You have a lot to talk about. Doing real estate, you have to constantly network and market and stay in touch with everything. So that would probably benefit both of you. If you want to make money. But yes, I have dated someone who I listed his home, and we became close and good friends, and it worked out well because I really got to know him. We worked well together. I respected him like in business, and he respected me, and I thought it worked out, and I would for sure recommend that I don't think it's off limits, not in that type of working relationship.
I think if you're in an office with someone every day, it could be really tricky.
Don't they have laws against that or something?
Nowadays most companies do, but you never know. And Esteban, what about you? Do you date coworkers ever, or have you? Or
I have in the past. I actually was dating somebody that was trying to like record an album of mine, because like I'm a singer. So he's like, oh, I'll help you do this and that, and ended up just lying to me and everything towards the end. So for me it was different, just in that sense that like I couldn't just have a relationship with that person and work with them. But I've been in situations where even with friends, or like with exes, where we've done things and it was cool. Like we were able to like make it work. We wouldn't really necessarily work together maybe in the same room, but we would be within like a company or whatever, and we've made it work before. So it is possible.
Now I want to ask you, this is kind of going backwards again, but when you did come out of the closet, how'd your parents take it?
They kind of like, it was actually opposite for me. I thought my dad was going to take it the hardest, and I think it was my mom that took it the hardest. And I totally understand it, and we've talked about it since and stuff, but like, I mean, my mom, like, when she found out, like, her and my sister, they both were even like, it makes sense. A lot of it was like, it was kind of like,
they saw the signs when you were young.
Yeah, it was kind of like, it was one of those like aha moments, like where the light bulb in your head goes off, or on, I should say. And that's what it was for them. And then they were like, oh, we totally get it. And then like my whole middle school like life and stuff, like how I was growing up and going from being like, a teenager, going through like, dealing with puberty and, the whole like adolescent stage and stuff, and, just being rebellious, and then them, years later finding out like, we understand why a lot of that happened, and now we're at a place where we love each other so much, and they're so supportive now, and and they want the best for me. So they tell me, they're like, you know what, Esteban, if this makes you happy, we're there and we support you. So I think that also is like what's super cool, because it was really hard. It took years for them to like really cope with it and really like fully 100% accept it, because it's like when you lose somebody, for them that's what it was, and that's how they explained it to me. It's like mourning the death of like an actual person.
Oh wow.
Because it's like your entire life you're thinking your son, as a mom or as a dad, is one way, and then you end up finding out that they're completely different, and they're not the child that you really wanted them to be, and grow up to be, because my mom and dad were always like, well, we always thought that you were going to be that person to have a family, and and you would have your career and everything like that, and be that typical like husband here in OC, and while I would love for that to happen, unfortunately my heart is not there, you got
to be true to who you are.
Exactly. And it's like what our one caller Stacy was saying earlier, you have to follow your gut, and I completely believe in that as well. So but yeah, I mean it was a great thing and a bad thing all at once, but at the end of the day it ends up working out, and it ended up being something really good.
Now, have your parents met your boyfriend?
They haven't yet. We've talked about it. I've been really excited to have them meet him, but when the timing's right, and they're not in a rush for it, because they're still swallowing it, you know what I mean, kind of a little bit, because my mom even made a joke. She was like, I would want to meet him, but not like right away, and like kind of made like a little joke. So
it looks like we have another caller, so we're going to go ahead and take a caller. Hi, you're on live with Keeping It Real with Peggy Tanous on 101.5 FM. Hello? I think this is Ryan, right? Do we have Ryan live on air? Hi, Ryan. Are you with us?
I am.
Thanks for calling in. So are you single in the jungle out there?
Oh, man, it's been quite a journey. It was for a while. I think it's been kind of an off-on thing, and I'm sure people listening can relate to that. But currently, no.
Oh, currently you're in a relationship.
I am now. Well, and I'm hoping this one will last, but you know how it goes. It is a jungle out there, as you said. It's pretty crazy.
And how old are you, Ryan?
I am 32 years old.
32, okay. And have you done the whole social media thing? What's your take on what we were talking about with the social media and dating?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm probably one of the rare exceptions, and I get a lot of flack for this, to be honest. But I used to be into social media. As of now, I'm one of those weirdos that doesn't fit in, that deleted all their social media. I feel like
Congrats.
I actually feel like it was counterproductive and made things much worse, to be honest.
Totally.
That's amazing. Kudos to you,
good
Ryan.
for you.
That's fabulous.
32,
no, thank
he
you.
gets
I
it.
kind of got to a point where I felt like, I'm living life through almost a voyeur type thing, right?
Yes.
Here I am on social media, and I'm posting things, talking to people, and instead of actually being there in the moment in real life, I'm living my life through a media portal. So I kind of made a commitment to delete one, and then the other, and now I'm like a hermit from the whole social media.
See, and now you have a girlfriend, so that's probably why. So how long have you been with your girlfriend?
Right now, I'd say about 6 months.
Oh, it's very new. Okay.
Very new.
So fairly new, but I've been through the full spectrum of the ups and downs, the divorce, breakups, all those types of things. So probably no worse or no less than anyone else listening,
So what would your advice be to some of the guys and girls out there that are single and looking for love? And, what would be something, you've been married, so you've had experience in that. What would be your advice?
I think the best advice I could give anyone listening is to I've made so many mistakes, and I've learned to, try to look at each mistake as a learning opportunity and a lesson in life. And I think first and foremost, whether we want to admit it, everyone kind of wants to find, like you said, love or a relationship. But I think that the best advice I can give is to always focus on yourself first and be a better person and just do the things you want to do. And when you do that, I think everything will fall into place, and I think being someone that's divorced, I can honestly say I made a lot of mistakes in that relationship. And I've tried really hard to recognize what I was at fault for and to learn from that as well. But, I think to anyone listening, just believe in yourself, be the best person you can for yourself, and don't go looking for things. I found in life, whether it was a job or a relationship or just about anything, when I try to make things work and I kind of hope and long for them, things just don't seem to work out, or you set yourself up for disappointment. I think if you have an expectation,
no expectations.
And then when it inevitably falls short, you feel so disappointed. But when you
I agree
live your
with that.
life, and,
Absolutely.
Just do you.
Yeah. Well, that's great advice, Ryan. It's Esteban here. How are you, my friend?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Well, I just wanted to say really quick, kudos for you for everything that you're doing. Congrats on your new relationship. I mean, you really deserve it. And, thank you for being such a great friend. I remember, this is a guy that has also given me advice, with my relationship that I'm in now, whenever I had struggles. And, so, he's definitely helped me out. And, and he doesn't care that I'm gay,
Oh, Ryan's your friend. That's so nice that he
Ryan's
called
my
in.
friend. Yeah.
Aw.
So he's, he's helped me out as well. And, we've kind of given each other like little pep talks and have lifted each other up and stuff. So it's really been cool.
That's awesome. Now, Ryan, are you a kind of guy that we're going to like? Because you are you the one that calls your woman and does little things and so
well, I try to. I think that you got to put effort into things, obviously. But no, I mean, I'm trying very hard now. I'm at a place where I think I'm happy, and I think as strange as it sounds, I'm at another place where I have more realistic expectations of life. So what today may be working may not be there tomorrow. That's just life, and so I try to take it one day at a time. I think maybe that's, go back to what you were saying, the best lesson I could give to anyone listening is whether you're happy or sad right now, or you have good things, bad things in your life, just one day at a time. You can't change the past, you can't worry about the future, you can only be present-minded, and that's really all you can do in life. And if
Absolutely.
try to go around that, you drive yourself nuts anyways,
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Ryan. Have a great day, and we're going to wish you best of luck on your new relationship. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, we're going to take another caller or two and talk a little more about dating and crazy world out there.
Longboard Restaurant and Pub in Huntington Beach is happening now. Cold beer, tasty food, and signature cocktails. Plus all major sports packages on 22 TVs. Longboard Restaurant and Pub on Main Street in Huntington Beach. longboardpub.com.
Positively perfect pet grooming serving Newport Beach, Costa Mesa, and surrounding areas since 1990. Heidi, the original owner and groomer, specializes in not keeping your dog all day. Open Tuesday through Saturday, 7:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. 949-756-2108. That's 949-756-2108.
When it's time for a smog inspection, you know your car or truck has to pass that inspection. Whether your vehicle is old or new, previously failed or a problem, or even a Star Center car, Fitzgerald's Auto Care can make most auto emission repairs, and once your vehicle passes, an oil change is included. AAA approved and right here in Costa Mesa at 2066 Placentia Avenue, it's Fitzgerald's Auto Care, 949-548-8877, and on the web at fitzautocare.com.
Authentic family Mexican cuisine for 50 years. El Matador restaurant has the KOCI Weekly Award-winning margaritas with a choice of over 200 tequilas to suit your taste. The tradition continues at El Matador on Newport Boulevard at 18th Street in Costa Mesa and on the web, elmatadorcostamesa.com.
Cabinet Wholesalers Refacing saves you huge money on your kitchen remodel. You get the function and style of a new kitchen at a much lower price by replacing worn-out doors and drawers with soft-closed new ones in your choice of any of their high-end styles and finishes. Industry-leading quality with a 20-year warranty and the guaranteed lowest price. Cabinet Wholesalers also does full kitchen remodeling, including professional design and installation, with an impressive selection of new cabinets and countertops. Their Anaheim Hills showroom is open 7 days a week. 1-800-REFACING or 1-800-REFACING.com.
And you are back with Keeping It Real with Peggy Tanous, KOCI Radio 101.5 FM, and online KOCIRadio.com. In studio, Michelle and Esteban. So, guys, I want to ask you what, or I should say, ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask you guys what you think, because when I was growing up, I have 4 sisters, cuckoo crazy family, and 5 girls. I don't know how my dad still is alive, but my parents always kind of drilled into us: wait until you're 30 to get married, because they felt like you needed to go to college, work your career angle, do whatever you're going to do, find out who you are, travel, and then worry about getting married. Obviously, Esteban, you're a lot younger than that, but Michelle, you've obviously waited, and what do you think about that?
I've traveled, I've lived the life, but then you wait too long, and for women, what about children? There is that.
Yeah,
I say if you find love, you could do all those things together. You could travel, you could go to school, you could do your careers, you could do it all. If you find love at 25, I say go for it, looking back. But for me, I know I wasn't ready before 30.
And
so
I definitely
ran.
wasn't either. Yeah, I did too.
But if you find it and you could stick with it, I think it's great.
Yeah, I agree because, for my parents, it was really different because, my mom is from Mexico. She grew up in a really small town and stuff. And she got married when she was 19. And I believe my dad was 21, 22. Wow. And, it was crazy. They knew that they wanted to be, together for the rest of their lives. And, they're together, happily married 30 years later.
That's amazing.
And they're wanting to plan their 50th wedding anniversary and do all of that. So it's like, I'm so happy and excited for them. And when some people may not be ready at 30, you might be later or sooner, and I think that there's nothing wrong with that. I think that when you find love at the end of the day, I think that's what matters.
I think I'm in the middle. I agree with Michelle. I think for me personally, there's definitely no way I could have done it before 30.
Right.
And I think if you can wait till you're about 30, but you're 24, sometimes it's a little bit earlier, but I definitely don't think people should run out and get married at 21.
No, you want to be mature about it too, and you have to be adult about it, because it's not a decision that can go away. It's something permanent. So once you actually impulsively are like, oh, I'm gonna get married, and then it's like, okay, it doesn't work out.
I agree. We have another caller on the phone. You are on KOCI Radio FM Live. Is this Sarah?
Hi, is this Peggy?
This is. You're on Keeping It Real with Peggy Tanous. Hi, Sarah. Thanks for calling in.
Hi. I have a question about when it's appropriate to go on a long trip with someone when you've just met them. Like, when is it, I'm in my 40s, and I feel like I'm in a rush to say yes, or I say yes quickly, compared to when I said yes when I was in my 20s and early 30s.
Saying yes to what? To going
trip.
On a trip?
Which I have a lot of experience with this.
Sarah, I'm sorry. Are you asking that you say yes quickly when you want, if someone asks you on a trip?
I do now. I've found that I go on trips, within like a month or two of knowing someone, as opposed to when I was younger. I thought, I have to get to know them and make them wait 4 to 6 months, and it was more of a process instead of now it's just a quicker process.
Well, I think if you're sleeping with the person, then of course you can go on a trip. But for me personally, I think in the beginning, probably few months, I'd stick to like shorter trips. Because if something does happen,
it's still a trip.
It's a trip, but like if you're
still
in
gonna be in the same bed.
Well, like if you're in Vegas or Miami, it's a lot easier it's a lot easier to come home than if you're in Italy, right?
Yeah, but
I get that. Like the distance thing.
The flight home is a lot easier.
Are you sleeping together yet, or are you not? Then if you're going to go on a trip and you haven't slept together, I bet that would be the time.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
But it's also a great time to get to know someone. You're traveling together. You're spending, all the time with each other. You're going to really get to know each other. You're going to see how they travel. You're going to...
So you're saying, everything. Michelle, right away?
No, not right away. Well, I don't... I would give it at least a month. If you're, you put in like 10 dates.
Okay. Yeah. And Esteban, what do you think?
It's hard because for me it was 50-50. I've had great experiences and bad. More great, I would say. I honestly within within a month or a few months. It depends on the connection you have with the person. Like I said.
Well, I was gonna say, Sarah, you should base it also off of what we talked about earlier about feeling the intuition on it. How if your intuition tells you it's okay, I think it's okay.
I think, Sarah, you just have to follow your heart, baby. You have to follow your heart, and if you feel like this is somebody that you can see yourself with 6 6 months, from now or whatever, really take that into consideration because, like I've definitely been there where I didn't take that into consideration and I was very impulsive because if you knew me, that's just my personality. And, and it's really like bit me in the butt. So you just want to be careful, you know what I mean? But definitely follow your heart. And, if the chemistry is right, you got to go do it, girl, because you never know. You could be like my parents 30 years later, happily married.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. Well, it's actually happened where I did leave the country. Other times when I left the country, it was wonderful and an amazing experience. But recently, when I jumped in and said yes, after about a month's time of knowing this person, I was literally stuck in another country. And being in my 40s and very confident and very secure and strong-willed, it didn't work out, and I just wanted to leave.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's the worst.
That's the worst. But, you never know. So,
Yeah.
but don't go on a
think
trip
you-
just because it's a great trip. Don't do that. Because you could do all those things with your girlfriends and your friends.
Totally.
And you want to experience, another country.
And
Don't
that's
go
good
just
advice.
because you got asked.
Especially, I think, to
Plan
younger girls that maybe
Yeah.
haven't traveled yet. They're like, oh, okay, this guy wants
Yeah,
to take
he-
me here. I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to go
just
and get
to
to
go.
see.
And
No.
it's like,
you could do all that with your friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
But if you I think if you really do like somebody and you haven't slept with them yet and
It's
they
a
do
great
ask
time.
you to take
Yeah.
they want to take you on a trip.
Yeah.
That's a great way to have,
That's a great way to
have
do
your
it, too.
first romantic experience.
Absolutely,
Be
yeah.
somewhere fabulous,
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you so much for
Thank
calling us,
you.
Sarah.
Thank you.
Good, and good luck. And if you go on a trip, I hope it's fabulous.
I know.
Now, Esteban, I'm sorry, we took the call, so we kind of cut you off, but you were talking about. I don't even remember what you're talking about now. We want to keep it real. You were talking about with your experience and like with your boyfriend now, and like if he's in Colombia, did you guys? So you met here, but have you been to see him in Colombia?
We met here. I've never been to Colombia. No. To be honest with you, I was kind of scared too at first. Not because of like, it just being Colombia and stuff. It was just more like, it was me more, like, I guess like, like Sarah, kind of like figuring out like whether I wanted to or not. It was a big move for me, because like I did a lot of things for people, and it's always went sour on me. So for me, it was more, an insecurity of mine of not wanting to do it because, I was scared. I was scared to really figure out what I was getting myself into.
So now you met him here, and how long?
But we met here.
How much time did you guys spend together before he then went back?
I think about like half the time that we've been together, we've actually physically been together, like 50%.
Oh wow, that's because
so
6 months.
If you added 6 months, but I
That's
mean,
awesome.
honestly, 6 months. You can still, fall in love at, like at 6 months down the road from an actual relationship. So, it ends out working out.
We have another caller on the phone. This is Ed calling in from Palm Springs, and Ed, you are live on KOCI 101.5 FM here with Peggy and Michelle and Esteban.
Hey.
Are you there, Ed? You're on live.
I hear you now.
Hello.
I love you, but I have to chime in on this taking a trip thing.
On taking a trip? Okay.
Yeah,
Please.
because I am totally against taking the trip if you don't know them for a while and you haven't spent any quality time with them besides, getting it in every now and then. Here and there.
Okay.
You know what? When people are behind closed doors, you kind of, and you take a trip with them, you kind of find out some of their nasty
right away.
habits.
Oh, yeah.
So if I'm going to take a trip, separate room.
Separate room. That's a good idea.
I've done that. I've done that where guys wanted to take a trip. It's been 3-4 months. I say, okay, I'll go, but I need my own room.
Yep.
That's
And
good advice.
That's
I
a
agree
good
with
gentleman that
Yeah,
will get you
I agree with
your
that.
own room too.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm all about the police are coming for me.
It sounds like it. Jeez.
Ed.
Now, Ed, are you a single man?
I am single.
Okay. And how's your dating world going? And do you have any advice for others out there that are single?
You take your time to find out about people. I live in Palm Springs. There is a lot of nefarious drug use out here, and people appear really normal. And you really, and especially being an older homo, you really got to take your time to find out what people are about, because they present, whether it's at a bar or at a party or even dinner with friends, they present one way. And then you really start spending some time and, you see them more often and you get to see the real the true people. And as they say, with alcohol, the true personality typically comes out.
That, or then you find the prescriptions. You're like, oh, good Lord, this person's on all kinds of stuff.
I know.
Well, thanks so much for
Stay out of my nightstand.
Well, thanks so much for your call, Ed.
Thanks, Ed.
So we are almost out of time, but I just want to thank Michelle and
Thanks,
Esteban
Peggy.
for coming on. You guys are great.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, and good luck with your Colombian gentleman.
Thank you.
And you have to keep us posted on
Can we
what's...
come to the wedding?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We wanna- especially if it's going to be in Colombia. We want to go.
Yeah. Or any beach. I'll go.
Yeah, let's go.
And Michelle, you need to keep us posted on what's going on with
I
you, because
will.
I know there's all kinds of fun stuff always.
Yeah, always.
And remember, you can always get a hold of me on @Peggy Tanous on Twitter and Peggy Tanous on Facebook and KOCIRadio.com. You are listening to us live, 101.5 FM, Keeping It Real with Peggy Tanous. Have a great rest of the week. Keep it real, and we will be with you again next week at noon, 12 o'clock p.m. here on 101.5.
Broadcasting from Newport Beach, Costa Mesa to the universe. 1015 KOCI LPFM.
Yeah.